This will be our spoiler talk for the new Wonder Woman movie. So, if you would like to catch our spoiler-free review, you can check out our live spoiler-free review, clicking, that little thing popping up across the screen right here. So, here we go. Spoiler talking Wonder Woman. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And we are going to spoiler talk Wonder Woman because I already need to see that movie again, and I'm just super excited to keep talking about this movie.
Yes.
So, you've been fairly warned. This is our spoiler talk. I have no other introduction to give, so let's just get into Wonder Woman.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I loved it. And, having time to sleep on it and think about it and really think about that A+ I gave it in my spoiler-free rreview, I still think this movie's freaking awesome and worthy of an A+. So let's talk about it.
I'm still sticking with my A- that I gave it last night.
You went B+, A-.
I said B+, A-, and then I leaned towards the A- because I had a good time.
Sure.
It was a good adventure movie. Just slow at some parts for me. And,
yes.
But overall, I really did enjoy it. An A- is a really good grade for me.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get into that A category for me.
So one of the things, Themyscira, I always feel like I'm saying the name of that island wrong, but their little paradise island that the Amazons live on. First off, we said this in our spoiler-free, but I just have to comment on it again. I was so excited to see that was Cathedral Cove in New Zealand.
Yeah, you see the element where the cove is, but you don't really see the cove big time.
That's
in the
true.
movie.
No, and it might be a composite shot. But if you've been there,
you would recognize it. And it definitely, that's not what that whole area looks like. The coastline's like that, and then the waterfall was obviously CGI'd in. They don't want you to see the exact area, but it's such a beautiful area, and I'm not surprised that a whole bunch of movies use it.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting the way this movie opens. So we open in Themyscira, but right before that, we're in Paris, and apparently this is Wonder Woman's secret hideout where she's hiding out for, the last 100 years and not getting involved in humanity, and she gets a special package from Bruce Wayne, which is the original photograph of, her and her troop, and it's like...
The photograph that you see in Batman vs. Superman.
And it's funny because, on the one hand, I felt like, well, we didn't really need that. But on the other hand... I felt like we did because it's the tie-in to remind us, no, this is modern day. This follows in sync after Batman vs. Superman, and this fits firmly in this new shared universe that DC's establishing.
Yes.
So, it's weird because it's like you...
you don't see Batman or any of the
No,
other
you just see a letter from Bruce
Willis. Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne. Yes.
Good times.
But, one of the cool things about Themyscira was, first off, I liked little Wonder Woman. That kid was hilarious.
The little girl was cute, but that's because the writing was good for that.
That's true. The writing was good for that, but good child actress. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
Yeah. She's okay.
It's okay.
Whatever.
I've seen better child actors. Stranger Things. She would not hold a candle to any of those kids. So
I hope that little girl's not watching because you just scarred her for life in her acting career.
Oh
my gosh, Laura. Oh my gosh, you scarred her for life.
Somebody's going to get hurt later.
So Robin Wright was really good in this movie. What did you think of Robin Wright?
Well,
I didn't catch her name in the movie. I couldn't tell if she was like Persephone from the Wonder Woman 2009.
We should have looked it up, but it's too late now.
Too late now.
But I enjoyed her character.
Yeah.
As they're on their way into battle when the
Yeah, it's the Germans.
As they're on their way into battle and the Germans are following Chris Pine's character to try to get him. She has this look where it's all dead serious, and you see this tiny little smile come up on her mouth, and all I can think is Claire Underwood from House of Cards, which we're currently binging. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna kick butt and take names, and the fight sequence, man.
Oh my gosh. You see it in that trailer, and it was the first Comic-Con trailer and other trailers where you have those slow motion epic shots on the beach, but what I liked about
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say what I liked is how DC marketed this because they showed you enough that it was
But they didn't show you nearly all of it, which was such a change in pace.
Yes, and so to go into the movie and see this amazing beach battle sequence, it was what I hoped it would be from the trailer. From the trailer, it felt like this Lord of the Rings epic scope, amazing battle, and I got just that in the movie.
And I enjoyed it, and that character ended up taking a bullet for Diana.
Yeah.
So that this way...
Robin Wright, yeah.
Yeah, because Diana is,
Well, she's flabbergasted. She's seeing battle for the first time.
She's seeing
fighting.
Death.
No, she was fine. Yeah, you're right.
She went and turned her back because she was kind of shocked that Chris Pine was helping them out.
Yeah.
And she like turned and looked and smiled, and then they kept fighting. And then all of a sudden, there's somebody behind her, and so she runs out and takes the bullet. And I'm like, oh, well, it is Gal Gadot, but Diana could have just blocked it if she would have realized. But
yeah, it's true.
It was just sad because you see her die, and so her helm is that lady's helm, because that was the general. That was the one who taught her how to fight before her mother would even let her. I mean, they had a special bond together because that was her teacher.
Yeah.
And so whenever she wears her helm, it's more along the lines of she's doing this as a way to honor her as well.
Yes.
I like that.
It's also funny to think that Robin Wright, who is this general's, the princess and the Princess Bride, that is hilarious to think of. And then it's more hilarious when you watch House of Cards to think about
How bad is it that I didn't know that until last night? Somebody brought it, was like, I can't believe she was in the Princess Bride. I'm like, what?
And I thought it was cool how they discovered the island. I mean, they give you the explanation. I guess there's some weird dome around it that Zeus put there so that,
to protect them.
Yeah, mortal eyes can't find it. But then you have Steve Trevor crash landing in there. Chris Pine crash landing in there.
Kind of like the cartoon.
Yeah, and I liked it when the German soldiers, though, like, they could see, like, as they're trying
like in this crazy mist, and they don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden they see the ship part.
The airplane part, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The airplane part. And they go to grab it, like, so close. And then they're like, all of a sudden their hand is in this crystal clear blue water, and it's sunlight, and it's like, what's going on? And then they go in, and then that's when the battle ensues, because those people are chasing Chris Pine because he stole something from them.
And I just really thought that transition, though, between that fog into, Themyscira was really cool. Really awesome. Like, they just did that. That was just so cool. That's the kind of stuff I love to see in my sci-fi epic fantasy movies, and especially my comic book movies. And that was just some nice touches. And then when we get introduced to Chris Pine, like right off the bat, he won me over. Like, especially when he's tied up in the lasso of truth, and he's trying
that was pretty good.
He's trying not to tell them that he's a spy, but he's like, oh, this is hot.
Yeah.
This is hot.
And the more you fight the lie, the hotter and tighter it gets around your bottom. Like, that's pretty funny.
Yes.
So then he just blabbed everything.
Yeah, but it's funny, like, those moments where he's trying to hold it back, he's just had the face of, nope.
Yeah.
I am a spy for the British, working for the Germans. I mean, like, those moments were great.
I know. Well, and there's one scene in the middle of the movie where he lied to, like, the generals or whatever, and they come out, and she's like, what do you mean? We're going. And he's like, I lied to them. And she's like, how dare you? How do I know you're not lying to me? So he, like, goes and grabs her lasso and wraps it around his hand. It's like, ask me again, It's like, and he tells it to her again. That was pretty funny. I'm like,
no, that was awesome. I liked her character a lot in this because it's funny because she was both naive and not naive.
Yes.
Because what she was naive about was, of course, she's going from Themyscira to our world, and all she's ever known is Themyscira. Yeah. But while she's in our world, she knows more than the average person.
Because she's crazy intelligent, because they read books. She knows all these other languages. So she's knowledge, like, she's super smart.
Yeah.
But she's just, like, she sees a mom and a child, and she, like, freaks out because there's no babies on Themyscira.
Yep.
And so they go running, they're like, oh, baby. And it was just so funny.
Or the first time she tries ice cream.
Yes. that was how they did it exactly the same way as it was in there, where she's like, you should be proud of yourself for the way that ice cream
you should be
was made.
proud of this achievement. Oh my gosh. Like, but it was like little touches like that with her character that to me was the right mix of humor and the right mix of DC Comics action that we needed, because I don't think Batman vs. Superman was too dark. That's not the problem with Batman vs. Superman, but that's a lot of people's argument, is that it's too dark. So if that was the argument...
Which was pretty dark.
Yeah, but if that was the argument, then you go into Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman has the right balance, I think. Yeah, it has the dark moments, it has the intense moments, it has the comedic moments, and it does it right.
And a little romance for the people who like that.
Yeah, it's not like Marvel jumping completely over to lighthearted comedy, and it's not like Batman vs. Superman, where it is very heavy, but it hit that nice ground where it had a really good mix.
One of the things that I want to know, and so if you're a comic book person and you know the answer to this, let me know. When she's leaving the island with Chris Pine's character to go fight Ares, because that's who they know is the person that they have to fight, because that's the god of war and there's war going on. And so when they leave, her mom tells her that once she leaves, she can never come back.
Yeah, and that wasn't in the 2009 cartoon.
No, and I was wondering, why can she never come back? I just don't know.
If you know the answer to that, let us know in the comments, because I don't know either.
I understand they wouldn't be able to find that area on a map, but those soldiers found their way there when Chris Pine crash landed in their ocean, and so they found a way in. So if they found a way in, how do we know she can't? So that's just a question that I have.
Yes. But while you mention Ares, let's talk about Ares. Through the trailers and through the marketing,
no idea who it was.
It is a big deal, though, but it really made it look like you see her with the sword, and she goes up to that one general soldier dude who I cannot place his name, but
he was also Stryker and Wolverine.
I don't think he was.
Dude, yes, he was.
I think we should go back and watch X2, because I don't think he was.
I do, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, this actor dude, who I cannot remember his name, I mean, they did great pains to really make you think it was him, but...
Yeah, but as soon as I saw Remus Lupin from Harry Potter, and I can't think of the actor's name, I'm like, that's Ares. And he was talking peace, and I'm like, oh yeah, peace in a time of war, and the way he was talking about it, it was like, yeah, whatever helps you sleep at night, buddy.
That was the one very predictable element in this movie, because they took great pains to make that other dude, to make you really believe this is Ares. To the point where she gave the guy, Dr. Poison gave the guy the chemical, and it would just glow around his nose and his cheeks, and he would get that extra burst of strength.
Which made me know 100% it wasn't Ares.
Well, that's true, but what if he was
he
a god in an incarnated form, and he needed it to keep his incarnated form? I could see how they were trying to make us believe that this is Ares, but to me, I'm not calling that a weakness of the movie. I'm just saying that was the one thing that was blatantly obvious. It was obvious. They're just trying to throw us off, and it was obvious Remus Lupin was Ares.
I can't think of the actor's name.
Either,
I've seen him in
I'm
so
gonna
much
call him
stuff.
Lupin because, But
Oh, no. My favorite part when we're watching the movie, Chris goes, hey, it's Remus. Lupin.
I couldn't remember his name.
And so it was a kind of quiet moment in the theater. I went, because it wasn't a funny part, but it's okay.
But that was the one part that was really obvious to me. And then especially when she got into the tower, which was a great fight scene between her and that other general. The way they fought each other when he inhaled that stuff and then they fought, like, that was incredible.
Yes, because he had extra strength. So, there's a way that he could hold up to her.
And I knew that he was going to kill her. But what I liked about that scene...
You mean she was going to kill him?
Whatever. Dang it. What I liked about that scene, though, even though that was an obvious fake out, was her revelation that humanity being evil is not the god of war exercising influence over humanity.
Yeah.
That humanity being evil is just a natural state of humanity.
Yes.
And her disillusionment with that, so that even when Chris Pine makes it to the top of that tower where that base was, saying, no, we got to go now, and she's just like, why am I fighting for you? My mother was right. You don't deserve me. You don't deserve my help or our help. You guys are evil on your own. And then when the real Ares, Remus Lupin, actually does show up, he's like, well, you have now met the same revelation. And what I liked about that scene was, by him putting his little lightning on the lasso of truth, he was showing her a vision of a world where they could get rid of humanity.
Mm-hmm. And showing her a world of why he's doing what he did, too.
But what was interesting about that is it gave the bad guy tremendous motivation, and it made her temptation to succumb to his side make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see why she was tempted, because there was a moment where I was so connected to Wonder Woman in these scenes. I was so connected to her disillusionment with mankind is just evil, even without Ares' influence, that Ares showing her this paradise world before man was created, I was like, oh man, so why is she gonna want to fight for mankind? Like,
when they're just destroying everything.
They did a really good job of showing us that, and I think that's why after this mission was over, she stepped away for 100 years until, the Batman, Superman, Doomsday fight. Mm-hmm. That's why she stepped away for 100 years, but
she still ended up fighting and believing for them.
Yeah, but that's also the problem I have is like the movie ended on a high note. It didn't end on a low note. Mm-hmm. It ended like on this high note, or the flashback ended with her on a high note of honoring Steve Trevor and honoring his sacrifice, man. He paid the ultimate sacrifice because he was inspired by her.
There was this Dr. Poison created a poison that would pretty much kill everybody. Mm-hmm. And they knew about it. And so their goal was to destroy it. So them and their comrades, some of them were destroying the area. And they're like, well, we've got to figure out what to do. And since Steve Travers is a pilot, he broke in and he was able, while they were trying to fly, and he took the thing and he got up in the air and he
Yeah, he flew the plane really high up in the air and blew up the poison, yeah.
Yeah, so that this way it wouldn't affect. So he sacrificed his life for the greater good.
But what I liked about that is like, you could tell he did that because Wonder Woman inspired him. Like, her heroism and her selflessness and all of that stuff inspired him to be better than he was. And what I liked about Steve Trevor's character is they established from the beginning, he takes his father's advice that, if you see something's a mess and you could do something about it, do something about it. And that's why he's even involved in this war. And while he didn't believe this spiritual stuff, this Greek mythology stuff until later in the movie, he was so inspired by her willingness to jump into the fray and her willingness to be a hero and to save, that it inspired him to give the ultimate sacrifice, which was incredible, which is why it's kind of hard for me to believe she would step away from humanity for 100 years, because in turn she was inspired by the fact that he gave his life. And
but she was also heartbroken.
She was heartbroken, and I get that. So I could get the heartbrokenness, the disillusionment, things like that, and that's why she would step away for 100 years. But there was still that high note of seeing Steve Trevor's sacrifice that gave her enough faith in humanity that I'm like, well, I guess I don't totally buy that you would step away from 100 years. I could understand why you'd take a decade off, but, what about World War II? Tell me you didn't get involved in that? I don't know. I think that's the extent of my negatives, though. And that is a very light, nitpicky negative that doesn't ruin anything for me.
For me, some of the negatives deal with, it kind of got slow in a certain couple areas. I mean, they really tried to force the romance between Steve Trevor's and Wonder Woman, and I know a lot of people liked it, but that's the reason it's an A- for me. I just didn't feel it like some people did. I mean, I could tell there was a bond, but there's something about having a friend bond, a comrade bond, and then a romantic bond. And the romantic bond just did not hit for me at all with the two of them. They were attracted to each other. I saw that, but they jump pretty quick into, at the very end, he says he loves her as he's on his way to go run on the plane and, sacrifice his life. And one of the things that gives her the strength at the end to, unleash her inner goddess is, when she's fighting Ares,
watching his plane
love.
blow up. Yeah, and her love,
She realized he did something for the greater good, and that humans do love and not all war and hate.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what kept her focused to move forward in her life.
And that feeds into my other negative. Why would she step away for 100 years? Is because she saw that as much as humans have great capacity to hate and be evil, they have great capacity to truly selflessly love.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I see what you're saying about their relationship, and they were definitely a little light on it. Like, they didn't get heavy about it. It wasn't a heavy-handed romantic thing. But I still felt like it was there. And maybe that's just my male perspective. I thought it was there enough and it worked for me.
When they were trying to play it up more, it was like, it was taking too long. And I'm like, you're forcing something. I'm like, I would believe it. But and I did believe it, but it was forced. And I'm like, and for me, there's a point where I leaned over to Chris, even though he doesn't remember this, he says. And I'm like, all right, let's get back to the fighting. I'm like, I'm like, come on, we're just sitting around doing nothing. And I'm like, and I understand you need to build the characters, but this is not building nothing for me. So that's one of the reasons that I went down to.
I like
that stuff too.
I like them dancing in the town and things like that.
That was cute too, but then it just
and then they blew up the town with the gas. Oh,
really
the
sad.
Fury on Diana's face. I mean, it was sad what they did to that town, but man, what an epic scene it was when Diana was just freaking furious and went for him.
And then she got mad at Steve Trevor thinking that, that general was Ares, because she
Steve
didn't
wouldn't
know,
let her,
and he wouldn't let her, kill him in front of everybody.
Yes.
For good reason, he wasn't Ares. So, but the fight at the end between Ares and Wonder Woman.
That was a great fight.
That was a great
Oh my
fight.
gosh, that was a great fight.
Totally CGI'd all the way, but it was
Who
awesome.
cares? Yeah. And it's funny because you could blatantly tell it was CGI, but what are you gonna do?
Humans can't fly.
No, humans can't fly. They can't
shoot
hit
fire
that
out
hard.
of their hands.
And nobody can move in the armor that
Or
Ares
lightning.
moved in.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you have to do that. So it's like, yes, when you watch it, it looks CGI, but if you could just accept that, who cares, man?
Well, and I like the way
awesome.
that they did it, where he was fighting her, but he was definitely holding back to start because he was trying to get her to be on his side.
Yes.
And he was trying to convert her to being,
Because
the
sword,
God of War's minion, I guess.
The sword wasn't the God killer.
No.
It turned out Diana was
Diana
a daughter
was
of Zeus.
Yeah, because the only
was
person
a
who
god.
can kill a god is another god.
Yep.
And so Diana, since she was the son of Zeus, they had this sword in there that you think this is what she's raised, being told is the god killer. And literally, that's the first thing she shoots at him, and he just pushes it against his hand. And
disintegrates the sword.
And then Ares is like, that's not the god killer, you are. And she just kind of looks and just freezes for a moment. And I mean, it didn't take long for realization to set in.
I think some of those twists in the movie weren't really twists. You could see them coming. No, you could see them coming. But it didn't matter because...
they were good.
Yeah.
It was well done.
It was funny because even the points that were predictable in this movie, the predictability of it was not a negative to me. Mm-hmm. I was just excited for the reveals to get there because it was just awesome, and I was excited to see what Diana was going to do about these big reveals. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just that involved in it. And then I have to talk about my favorite scene. I did a little bit in our spoiler-free, but my favorite scene is when she goes out single-handedly to fight the German army in that trench. And they're trying to get to that town, but it's no man's land.
And
nobody can cross that.
They're sitting there talking about how nobody can do it. No one can do this. And she sees a mom and daughter freaking out that their family's being enslaved. And she's like, no, that's not happening on my watch. And that's when she puts on... oh my God, Robin Wright. I can't remember her character's name. That's when she puts on her helm for the first time.
Yeah, and then steps out there in slow motion.
And that's when she's like, this is when I'm going to honor her the most. And she wears that every time she
But
fights
like I said in my spoiler free, this scene where she stood out there, she is with her bracelets or braces, whatever they are, bouncing bullets off and running towards the German army. Suddenly the inspiration on Steve Trevor's face, the inspiration on the rest of their friends.
They're just freezing, looking at her like, what is she doing?
But then the rest of the soldiers, you watch them. Like, the rest of the soldiers, suddenly they are inspired by this. When the fire goes towards her, the rest of the soldiers suddenly are strong again. They were beat down and they were done fighting. Like, they were on the verge of giving up, and she gave them that measure of hope.
Well, she was also drawing all the enemy fire,
that too, but I'm just saying, like, what that scene did for me, I was like, that's what Superman should have been in BVS. Man of Steel, he was fine because he's trying to find his identity. He's trying to find his place in the world.
He's grown up.
I'm fine with Man of Steel. That was perfect for Man of Steel. By BVS, that's my biggest negative with Batman vs. Superman. Superman should have been happy to be Superman, and his character should have been the kind of character that inspired what I saw Wonder Woman inspire in the soldiers in that scene. Mm-hmm. And so, like, it was just incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah. That was a really great scene. And it wasn't even super long, but it was great. And you kind of see every fight sequence. I don't know if you notice this. You see how strong Wonder Woman gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's not that she's always been that strong.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what Robin Wright character was saying at the beginning. You need to believe in yourself. You're stronger than this. And every time she started to believe in herself more and more and more, and every action sequence, she got stronger and stronger and stronger. And the action sequences, even though CGI, they were awesome.
They were awesome.
Really well done.
Gosh.
And because of this, I am a little looking forward to Justice League.
Yes.
I haven't been looking forward to it. I'm going to see it because I like DC. But this... and it's a different director, and I think different writers, so I'm a little nervous, but it still gives me hope.
Well, it's Zack Snyder, so it's not a different director.
Oh, okay.
Zack Snyder did have a tragedy in his family, so at the final stages of post-production, we do have Joss Whedon overseeing the rest of post, which I also greatly trust Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I mean...
So...
they're both... Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, Zack Snyder, I'm praying for you and your family. Anyway, so let's talk Justice League for just the briefest of seconds.
I just have one more thing. The humor in this movie was great. I think we went over that already. But
I'm
like going back to some of the scenes when she first came in and the secretary that's...
And the candy was great.
What is a secretary?
I go where he tells me to go and I do what he tells me to do.
Oh, well, where I'm from, that's called slavery.
I really like her.
Fantastic. Ladies, after you.
I do. I like her.
There's one moment when Steve Travers tells Diana that she can't take the shield and sword, so he gives it to... and she's like, you better protect this with your life. And like, she's like looking like, I don't know what to do with this. It's just, I don't know. I mean, there was just so much little things. And when they're in the store doing the clothing, it was so much more than what you see in the trailers. I mean, there was just like the humor of her just learning it's just because it didn't pull away from the seriousness of what was going on. But it was
yeah.
So sorry, now you can go back.
And then Suicide Squad was truly the thing that made me nervous for Justice League, because it's like, people did a lot of complaining about Batman vs. Superman, and then they
lightened it up so much.
Well, I read they did like 7 cuts of Suicide Squad before we got what we got on the big screen.
Disappointing.
Oh my gosh. And so because of that, and because of all this crazy stuff that we keep hearing behind the scenes, it's like, I have been so nervous for Justice League. And
I
I've
just
been
wish they would do individual movies for each character. It's
Yeah.
kind of, unfortunately, like the Marvel model.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a great, like, Wonder Woman. I mean, we got a tease of her in Batman versus Superman.
Yep.
And then she's here. And so we're going to be learning about Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman. Who else? I think it's just those three.
Yeah.
Those are the three new ones, which luckily it's not 5 new ones. It's only 3, but we're going to have to learn about all of them and their backstories.
On top of
in
meet a brand
quick
new
moment.
villain and get that whole
Yes.
universe set up between Darkseid, Steppenwolf, and all that stuff. So I will say Suicide Squad is the biggest reason that I was dreading Justice League.
Well, yeah, because Suicide Squad just... we
was-
don't need to talk about that one.
Yeah, I
Maybe
know,
you can
but
look at your
the
review.
reason it makes me so scared was the way that they quickly introduced us to all those characters so fast. And I
Yeah.
was like, are they gonna
In 3 montages.
do like 3 or 4 montages just to get us into Justice League?
I don't think so, because Bruce Wayne is meeting all of them.
Yeah,
And so
no,
it's
no,
not gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
montage.
yeah.
It's gonna. I hope it's not a montage of him meeting all of them.
I hope not, but I feel like that first off, the trailer helped me have more faith in Justice League, but just definitely the way Wonder Woman was handled and made and put together, like...
DC's learning from their mistakes.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
That
And
is what
so
it feels
that's-
like,
I mean,
yes.
I feel like they, like, Superman.
Man of Steel?
Yes. I feel like... I feel like Man of Steel, they did a really good story.
That is a great movie.
But because people who are huge Superman fans had a hard time with the darker tone, they had a more difficult time with it. So they
Which
kind
I
of
wouldn't
tried
call it
to...
a darker tone,
I know.
but that's me.
So
Anyway.
then when they moved to the next step, which was Batman v Superman, and they got way more hate because of how dark it was, they're like, okay, well, the next movie, let's make it way more light. And so the next movie was way more light with
Which Suicide Squad shouldn't have been light at all, which was the
And
hilarious thing.
So
but yeah.
they made that more light. And so now the next one was this. And so they found, I feel like, a mesh between the dark and the funny. I wouldn't say light necessarily for Suicide Squad, but the funny. And it worked so well in this.
Yes. So, I don't know. I don't think I have too much more to say about Justice League, but I will just say that Man of Steel was fantastic. Wonder Woman is amazing. I don't know which is better between the two because I'm biased because Superman's my favorite superhero, but I just gotta say that Wonder Woman movie was just absolutely fantastic
Yes.
and
It
on
was very
every
good.
level. And so...
And it's definitely, in my opinion, I'm thinking yours too, the best movie in theaters right now.
And so by that alone, I think DC's hits outweigh their misses.
Yeah.
And
right
so,
now.
Yeah, right now. And so I'm just thinking Justice League has a good shot for me.
It's right now we're at 50-50 if you ask me.
Yeah.
So it's it's now like 60-40. So it's getting better.
So what are your thoughts on Justice League? I'm giving Wonder Woman an A+. She's giving Wonder Woman an A-. And we both, I think, agree that overall our faith in Justice League is
Slightly better.
Is at least higher thanks to how well done
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is, because it gives us that hope that, look how well they did. Look at what they can do.
My goal is to go into it with not too high hopes, so that this way, if it's okay, I'll really like it.
Yes. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Justice League, and what did you think of Wonder Woman? Be sure to let us know in the comments while you're there. Hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian. A little later today, getting excited for The Mummy. I'm going to be releasing my theological analysis on the 1999 Mummy with Brendan Fraser. I'm going to be releasing that today, unless it's already released. In that case, right there. Click that link and you can check that out. And like and share this video. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thank you for checking out Durbania.